Folks, we're going to get started now with finalist number two, which is band metrics. Of course, we have three finalists today, and just to recap the format of how it works, we go for 20 minutes where the finalist company does their presentation, and then we follow up with 20 minutes of Q&A with a distinguished panel of experts, VC and business experts. This is a great event, and we're about to hear now from company number two. As promised, I'm not going to try and give you their elevator pitch. That's their job. So I'll present from Band Metrics, Duncan Freeman. Duncan?
Good morning. My name is Duncan Freeman, and I'm the founder and president of Band Metrics here in Atlanta, Georgia. We are a music technology startup. So Band Metrics is a data analytics and decision support system for the music industry. What does that mean? Well, essentially, we've created a unique system that collects information from across the topography of the internet relative to bands, musicians, and artists, brings that data back into our system. We process that data, we analyze that data, and we provide the data back in easy-to-view, easy-to-understand, intuitive charts and graphics to two types of individuals: artists themselves and music industry professionals. These professionals include booking agencies, labels, marketing agencies, and the like. Why is this important? Well, say you're a band based out of here in Atlanta, and you're just getting started. You've been playing about 4 or 5 months, and you've got a small little following here in Atlanta. You've got sort of an emerging following in Charleston. You've got sort of a scattering in Birmingham, and you're coming out with a new digital release. And you're trying to decide to yourself, you've got a small promotional budget. What's the best way to spend those marketing dollars? Well, with Band Metrics, we help take the guesswork out of that. So you can actually log into the system, and you can see where your fans are concentrated. Is it MySpace? Is it iLike? Is it iMeme? Is it Facebook? What is the case? Here's the problem. About 2004, 2005, 2003, along those lines, about all you could do with music, for music enthusiasts, which most of us represent, you could play the music, you could stream the music, you could download the music, you could share it in a P2P network. You could even buy it. But social media, yes, surprise. But social media has changed this tremendously over the past couple of years. As music enthusiasts, you can fave it, you can hype it, you can like it, you can love it, you can recommend it, you can play it, you can download it, you can tag it, you can share it, you can mix it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But the problem is that with all of this activity comes tremendous amounts of data just for one particular artist. And there is no effective way at all to measure this data within the social media spaces and then provide that information back to the music industry. The other thing that's changed is that the music industry is no longer exclusively about sales, but about your influence within the music industry space. Enter Band Metrics. We are a decision support system that helps bands and artists make decisions based on the data relative to their music. So right here is an actual screenshot of the inside of our system working. This first matrix is a comparison matrix. It's comparing between plays, fans, comments, and views between four media spaces, which is MySpace, Last.fm, Pure Volume, and iMeme. We do historical data, so you can see time series data, as well as raw data. You can download your raw data as well. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I unveiled this at the San Francisco Music Tech Summit, and the response was ecstatic. Ian Rogers, the former head of Yahoo Music, who's now the CEO of Topspin, stopped me and he said, "Duncan, this is exactly the kind of social analytics we want to put into Topspin." And we are now talking to Ian Rogers. What also is significant about that is because Ian Rogers is a celebrity in this space. And their company, Topspin, represents some very marquee bands, such as Paul McCartney of the Beatles. But it doesn't stop there. This is our Radio Trends heads-up display, and we can show in an almost near real-time environment what music's being played, in what market, what station format, what date, what time, across over 1,000 different terrestrial radio stations in North America. And terrestrial radio stations is just a fancy word for physical radio stations like 96 Rock or Z93. Now, when we unveiled this in San Francisco Music Tech Summit, there was immediate chatter within the room. The artists were extremely excited. And but think about it like this. If you're a marketing agency and you're trying to submit your product to a particular song within a particular market, how great of a tool is this to be able to log into the system and see what music is actually being played over a period of time within a particular market. But it doesn't stop there. So this is Bandmetrics' public face that you can actually see for any particular artist that we're gauging. We're gauging the Dave Matthews Band. And our data analytics, which are constantly grabbing data and processing the data every hour, presents a brand strength score and a hotness meter, how hot the band is. If you'll notice, Dave Matthews is almost red hot. One of the reasons is they just released a new album. They have a tremendous strength in their level as well. They're at the platinum level, which is the international sort of superstar level. And these scores right here are all of the categories that we gauge at this time. These categories will expand. We use some complex algorithms and logarithms to get this information, such as decay factors and momentum factors. But one thing that's really exciting to artists is that with a simple click of the XML button, they can get the raw data, just like this, boom. And they can port the data. They can do whatever they want with the data. So we sort of took a Twitter philosophy, and that philosophy is export the data, do whatever you want, and bring data in, and we will measure that data. So with that said, we also announced 2 weeks ago a format initiative started by Bandmetrics called the Music Data Exchange Format, which has picked up tremendous growth in the industry. Bandize out of Austin, Texas is now doing their format to it. SoundCloud out of Berlin, Germany is now using our format. So our technology, how does this work? Well, we filed a patent, a provisional patent. John Elmore is the CTO of the company. He's also a patent lawyer. We filed a provisional patent about 1.5 years ago, utility patent about 5 months ago, relative to our popularity profile system. And here's how it works. We look at data in two different ways, quantitative data and qualitative data. Quantitative data is the number of plays, comments, fans, views, that kind of thing. Qualitative data is what people are actually saying. We pull that information in. We use a natural language processing engine to text parse the comments, like, I love this band, that band's no good, to gauge a sentiment, how people feel about music. Never before have we entered into this kind of space, how people feel about something. So it's a positive or a negative. We then wrap that in and provide scoring relative to this data. So pretty cool stuff so far, but you may be asking yourself, well, I'm not so sure about the music industry. Well, we believe the music industry is red hot, and it's never been a better opportunity than now. In every way of the music industry, it's growing, from the number of songs available online to the number of downloads to the number of songs that you can get on your iPhone to the number of songs available in games such as Rock Band. And yes, even revenue is growing. We're about $65 billion a day. According to eMarketer, we're going to be about $68 billion in 2011. Relative to what we do, our addressable market size is about $30 billion. But let's look at the numbers alone. There are 8 million artists worldwide. We know this because we collect the data on them. And that is a huge market to go after. That's just the artists themselves. There are hundreds of thousands of venues, tens and tens of thousands of marketing agencies, band management companies, AR reps, etc. But you don't have to take our word for it. You can just take a look at the industry buzz about us. We've been contacted by every single major record label on the planet, period. EMI, Virgin, Warner, you name it. And they constantly send us pretty cool emails. And I'm just going to pull out one. This is from the head of digital from Epic Records. We've been looking for a solution that can process the complexity of the web into organized data. You bet. And that's exactly what we do. We take the anarchy of all of this fan activity that's happening relative to an artist and to their songs. We bring it into our system. We organize it. We provide meaningful insight back to that artist or that label. But it's not just the labels and the music industry professionals that are talking about it. It's the artists themselves. So right here is a Twitter feed. I've cherry-picked different posts that were made when we were at San Francisco Music Tech a couple of weeks ago. Love these. Bandmetrics, gonna be a game changer. Bandmetrics, amazing, worth the wait to check it out. Bandmetrics looks like the breakout product of the conference. This is a music tech conference. This is my favorite. Bandmetrics, check the sexiness out. Love that. So we have a lot of traction. We've been written on huge international blogs. I've been invited to speak all over Europe and all over North America. Recently, I was in San Francisco, obviously. Before that, I was in Nashville speaking at a summit there. Before that, I was in France speaking at the MEDIM conference, which is the largest and biggest and most significant music technology conference. Going to Berlin in a couple of months, and then to New York, and I'm sure there'll be more. Everybody wants to talk about analytics and why it's important. Bands currently using our system. These are real bands currently testing our system. We have REM. We have the Beastie Boys. We have Metric. They're using our system. Bands that are currently, or labels that are currently using our system are EMI, Warner Brothers, The Orchard, and Atlantic. I talked directly with Ethan Kaplan, the CTO, or the Vice President of Technology for Warner Brothers. Our business model works like this. There are three target groups or three audiences that we target. Artists, music industry professionals, and then private label market. Artists, it's a subscription model. We believe that it's going to be about $10 per month per artist. Now, we're going to have plans lower than that. We're going to have plans more expensive than that based on the features that you need. Music industry professionals, again, subscription model, about $500 a month. We'll have plans lower. We'll have plans more expensive, and we'll also have some tailored plans. And then the private label industry, these are negotiated contracts that are with large distribution companies that can have anywhere from 3 to 5 to 600,000 artists. So if you picture that we're charging $4 or $5 per artist, that's pretty significant revenue for one contract. Future opportunities include data mining and additional verticals. The way we've built our technology is portable because it's on this open API architecture. So you can use it in other verticals, whether it's to gauge the popularity of wine, gauge the popularity of cheese, gauge the popularity of artists or athletes. You know, the sky's the limit. We are in talks with a couple of individuals who are looking at our technology to go after a couple of verticals that they're interested in. Our revenue model looks like this. We sort of took a parabolic approach to this because of the economy. So our subscribers, not our users, our subscribers starts off a little slow over the next year or two, but then picks up over the third and fourth, fifth year. We believe, based on how we're going to be pricing this company, we believe will be about 30, 35 million, somewhere in that price range around 2013. We think churn will be relatively high, 5, 6, 7%. These numbers are based on a churn at 5%. We're going to aim for 5%. I come from a MindSpring background, so we're going to aim for that. We looked at Equifax. Equifax does something kind of similar to what we do. They gauge your credit, and then they give you a score. And we looked at them, and we said, you know what? They're running about 58, 59% gross margin profit. Why can't we do that? And so that's where we got that number of our gross profit margin. So go-to-market tactics, we've talked about most of these. We'll continue doing traditional public relations and social media marketing, but a lot of what we're doing is working, and it's working really well. The management team. So from 87 to 92, I was in two different bands. 91, 92, I was in a pretty significant band that traveled around the Southeast. We were booked by Cellar Door and East Coast Entertainment out of Atlanta. And in 94, when I graduated, I worked for Alexander Communications, a high-tech PR firm, and worked with clients like Hewlett-Packard and Microsoft. I then was an early employee at MindSpring, started in 1996, was there for 4 years. I left in 2000, started my first company called Strio, and John Elmore was the CTO. And we were building wireless ASP for Tier 1 retailers using Bluetooth devices. Now, we were really early. This is Bluetooth in 2000. Then my second company I started was a company called Audio Bubble. Again, a little too early on this. I was a simple platform to sell independent music, This is the heat of the prime time of Napster and LimeWire. John Elmore, we've known each other for about 11 years. We're very good friends. We talk to each other to the point I think that our wives get a little, upset. But John, his background is in artificial intelligence. He's about 2 years under his belt in his PhD from Georgia Tech in artificial intelligence. He has an MBA, JD, a Master's in Computer Science, a Master's in Electrical Engineering. He graduated number one in his class in Computer Science from Georgia Tech. So he's a pretty knowledgeable guy. So Board of directors, Alan Graber, he's in the room somewhere, a very successful entrepreneur here in Atlanta. We have two music industry leaders on our board, Bruce Houghton, who is a recognized leader with his blog Hypebot. He's the founder and editor of Hypebot. And Barney Kilpatrick is a former Warner Brothers executive. He's also on our board, advisory board. Parag Kordia, he is a recognized expert in the field of music information retrieval science, which is the field that we fall under. He's been quoted several times in different publications as saying Bandmetrics is trying to accomplish and achieve a scientific problem that is worthy and valuable of the music industry space. We have competition. We think there's about 4 competitors that are sort of in our space. But the takeaway from this is that none of them are focused on the qualitative or the sentiment analysis side. This is a very new space. Sentiment analysis is a very new way to gauge and analyze different things, whether it's an entity or a product or a brand or in this case, a band. And we are also focused on the prediction engine, and we also have a consumer app as well that's coming out in the 3rd quarter of this year. We also feel that our patent is going to be a barrier to entry if these guys try to do any type of scoring or any type of gauging of popularity relative to the data that they collect. So milestones to date. We were TechCrunch 50 semifinalists in 2008. And this is a pretty significant thing to note because there were 1,500 companies that applied from 49 countries. We were the only company from Georgia selected, and there was only 150 that actually made it to the semifinalist round. Now, contrary to a couple of different articles that have been recently published, we have only raised $60,000 to date. Now, the takeaway from that is we have achieved a great deal with just $60,000. We were a Georgia Top 40 Innovator on Hollywood Top 100 Private Company. We have 5,000 bands who are actually in our system, but we have not activated their accounts. These are bands that are so excited about what we're doing that they said, you know what, I'm just getting on the mailing list because I want to know the moment these guys open the system up. Future milestones include the public beta, the API. We're going to be doing a mobile app this summer as well, a consumer application 3rd quarter, and then additional verticals into this year, possibly next year. Lastly, I just want to say this. The Georgia music industry is a significant industry, not only to Georgia. It's a $2 billion annual industry, as well as 11,000 jobs are created from it. But it's significant in its history to the entire music industry. And now that we have a School of Music Technology in Georgia Tech, it's our hope that we start to bring in more music tech-related companies and keep them here as opposed to letting them go out into the valley. So in summary, this is a really significant opportunity. It is a huge, untapped audience. And we are developing technology that doesn't exist. It's never been done before. No one's ever gauged sentiment, the way someone feels towards something. And this technology is portable and scalable, and we have filed a patent on it, and it will allow us to go into other verticals. Thank you so much.